Therefore, that really leaves the only one reasonable solution, that is, in fact, to open up the rest of California Adventure for event guests to dine and shop. In fact, they'll probably announce something official just as soon as I'm done editing and publishing this video, which has happened on more than one occasion. So making these videos is sometimes a good luck charm for more news to come forward. And yes, that is exactly what happened. Tonight, news broke that Disney has decided that they're going to open up the entire park, all of DCA, with the exception of Avengers Campus, for the upcoming Food and Wine Festival. I'm not sure that's what everybody's calling it, but it's not really that exactly. Not a festival, but they're going to open up all of it. And it's pretty comical because, like I said, you know, in that I shot those clips earlier today for a video that I was going to put out later tonight, sort of expressing my expectations for this event. So I was standing in the queue for the Star Wars Trading Outpost. Tonight was the first night of the soft openings. Had a reservation for 5:30, and while I'm waiting in the queue to enter, the news broke on my Twitters saying, you know, that Disney was going to open up the rest of the park. I'm going to go ahead and break this for you now, or summarize what Carly wrote. This is per Carly Weisel. She's pretty accurate normally when she does this kind of thing. She's not known for breaking news, but when she does, she's pretty much always got it. Matter of fact, she was the one who was the first one to break the news about the coronavirus guidelines and how, you know, theme parks would have to be in the yellow in order to open up. Well, what a night that was. Another late night, just like tonight, doing these videos at night. Per her union contacts, as per union updates, food and beverage cast members will be called back for Cars Land, Pacific Wharf, Pixar Pier, Grizzly Peak, and 6 festival-style booths. It also appears the ticketed event will include Buena Vista Street, which we're going to get to that because I have some thoughts on Buena Vista Street as far as this goes. But yeah, I feel like this is the only decision, the only move that Disney could make if they're going to have this event. To do anything less than open up all those lands and et cetera would miss the entire point of having a festival like this to begin with. So my assumption is all the restaurants, all the shops in all those lands will be open and available for guests. Note, though, first, before we get any further, this is not per Disney. Disney hasn't said anything on this at all. They haven't said not anything publicly. The only information that's come out have been leaks. They haven't said, we don't have a date. We don't have a menu. We don't have a cost. They haven't even said, hey, by the way, yes, officially we're doing this. We just have that leak to the cast members from last week, and then this leak to the union heads, I would imagine, for these further details. Not that I don't think this is actually happening. I'm just putting that out there, disclaimer, as it were. So to my point about it, they have to do this. They didn't. I mentioned that because there were rumors. Well, first the rumors that I was hearing was that they're going to open up everything, and then I heard conflicting information that maybe it might just be up to the Cove Bar or Lamplight Lounge, and maybe up to Paradise Grill, but not necessarily Cars Land, certainly not Cars Land, and maybe not Pixar Pier. Pacific Wharf, that makes sense. But they had to go all the way. They had to. And that was going to be the call that I was trying to make in that previous video, is that they can't do anything less than open up everything except for Avengers Campus. I understand them not doing that. The reason for this is that, I mean, it's a paid event. They're going to charge us minimum $45. Probably, I'm guessing something closer to $60, because they can't charge the same amount as Knott's. Let's just get into that. They can't charge the same amount as Knott's because they're Disney. Things cost more at Disneyland, right? So they have to, you know, they have to up it there a little bit. So let's say $60. That's what I'm guessing. They charge $60 for this. What are you going to get for $60? You're going to get Paradise Bay, maybe Pacific Wharf. That's not a $60 event if you ask me. So the only way you can make this worth $60 is if you open up the whole park. That's a thing. That's something that I can get behind, is seeing Cars Land again, seeing Pixar Pier again, seeing all of Paradise Bay, doing all those things, and having a bevy of opportunities for shopping and dining. That's how these events work. You give them the illusion of a bargain when it comes to, you know, the taste cards, as it were. The Food and Wine Festival taste card looks like they're just like, hey, check this out, man, you're saving some money, buy our taste card, you get all this stuff for $50, $60. It's not a bargain at all, hardly. You save a couple dollars, if that, and only if you're paying attention. If you're not paying attention, it might cost you more. If you're really not paying attention and you don't use all your cards, you've definitely paid more. I've done that 3 times. So they give them the illusion that they're getting a bargain on these food events. Give them alcohol, make it fun, and then sell them some merchandise. Profit. That's how it goes. But you miss the profit part if you don't give them things to buy. And if you don't open up the entire park, if you give them just, the Embarcadero gift shop, we talked about this, the Embarcadero gift shop, and that other thing down there over by Corndog Castle, I forget what they call it, that's not shopping. I like the thing said they might open up Buena Vista Street. Again, I have thoughts on that, but we'll get to it. So you have to give them more opportunities, especially when you're down there in the deeper end of the park. So you absolutely have to open up Pixar Pier, you have to open up Nick's Snacks, and you have to open up Bing Bongs, and you have to open up Cars Land so you can do all the shopping in Cars Land. There's some pretty cute shops in there. Get some unique merchandise. It's the only decision that they could have made. And it makes perfect sense that that's the way they went. Okay, so about Buena Vista Street. That post suggested that they were going to include this in the event. I'm not sure that's a great idea. I don't know if I agree with that. And hopefully they don't. And I'll give you 2 reasons why. First, it creates issues with capacity. You are going to have guests coming in to downtown Disney who have the expectation of going into Buena Vista Street. But they also have no clue that there's an event going on. And they're going to show up expecting to go to Buena Vista Street, but they're told they can't go. Now you got to put those guests where? In downtown Disney? I guess. I don't know. That's going to create an overflow. You're going to see lines like you've never seen before in the parking lot of Paradise Pier Hotel. But perhaps more importantly, you miss a secondary revenue stream. If you close Buena Vista Street and you leave it and you make it open to festival guests, you miss an opportunity to do both things at the same time. You could run both concurrently. I don't agree with them commingling. I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think you can have both paid guests and unpaid guests sharing space on Buena Vista Street. I don't like that idea. It's just fraught with possibility or dangers, especially while we go down this tangent, especially when the parks are already understaffed. That's the kind of, you're asking cast members to work harder, to do more crowd control, to make more effort to explain things to guests. You're asking them to do things while they're already understaffed. This is the kind of thing that you have to be overstaffed for, like with the Halloween events. You have to bring in more staff to sort of just to herd the guests. But as I was saying, what I would prefer them to do as a business decision is to leave that space, leave Buena Vista Street open for non-paying guests, just like we do today. Allow them to collect that revenue for dining and for shopping, while also collecting the $60 per guest deeper into the park, Paradise Bay, Cars Land, and all that stuff. Double dip, as it were. You can collect both things. And personally, I'm fine with this. I'm fine. I don't need them to give me Buena Vista Street as part of my event ticket. I don't. I've been to Buena Vista Street a bunch of times. And if I want to go, I can go tomorrow for free. I don't have to pay at all to go and see Buena Vista Street. I can do that tomorrow. So I'm fine with them not, having that open. The reason why I'm paying $45 to $60, or more likely $60, is so I can see the rest of DCA. So I can go to Cars Land and Pixar Pier and the Pacific Wharf and Paradise Bay and all that stuff. I want to see the fun wheel and all that. That's what I'm paying my $60 for. You can keep Buena Vista Street. You can let the other guys have that, while we're doing our other thing. The only caveat to this is that you have to set it up in such a way so that the two events don't. I don't even want the people on Buena Vista Street to see what's happening as much as possible at the separate ticketed event. You could do this by routing guests in through the Grizzly Peak entrance, the one over there by World of Color. Route the guests in that way, and instead of turning left down Grizzly Peak and into Carthay Circle, you turn them right to Redwood Creek Challenge, follow that path, then turn right towards Little Mermaid, and then the festival area opens up from there. And then you have it border, let's say, at Cars Land. Well, actually, no, you can. If you're opening up Cars Land, then yeah, you border it right there at Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. You set the rope there, and then you pull the rope back to where they had it before at the beginning of Carthay Circle, and you have to move it back to the very entrance to keep that barrier there, that separation between the two events. This is just my idea. I'm spitballing. So there's that. DCA, things are starting to crystallize just a little bit more. But there was one other rumor that we were talking about at the same time as this one, and that was about the possibility of Main Street opening up at the same time, mid-March. I talked about that in the video we did today. There have been whispers going back and forth on this. Today, my optimism for that is probably a little less than it was before, if only because, you know, the rumor that WDW News Today posted initially was based on the premise that Disneyland cast members had been called back. Not Downtown Disney cast members, not DCA cast members, but Disneyland cast members. But it had been pointed out to me that these are union gigs, and the union is requiring that Disney call back those cast members who have the most seniority first. So that means you're going to be pulling possibly from Disneyland in order to staff DCA and Downtown Disney. Now that may seem perfectly logical and sound, but understand that under normal circumstances, pre-COVID let's say, it was not typical or customary for cast members to, I don't know, cross-pollinate. You know, there were Disneyland cast members and there were DCA cast members. It wasn't very often that you would see guests or cast members work other parks. Now that's not to say that this isn't going to happen. The story's not written yet. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Here's some smoke. We're standing out in front of the Disneyland entrance to the Eastern Tunnel entrance, and that is a hand washing station. A hand washing station that wasn't there before. Now, I know it's been a minute since we've taken our camera through the gates at the entrance of Disney. That's something that we used to do every week, and it was sport for us to try to find things. We found all kinds of stuff. We saw things installed, we saw signs posted, we saw markings on the ground. You know, there was a lot to look at, and all of it seemed to point towards some sort of positivity in the future. Things looked good, except they never went anywhere, and the park got even further away from opening. So we can't assume that this fact that this hand washing station appeared means anything. But it's not a bad sign. It's anything but a bad sign. It can only be a good sign. So the question is why? Why are they doing that now? Certainly, you know, you could say, well, they're just trying to be ready. They're just trying to be prepared so that when the time comes, when the state says, hey, you can open, they don't have to worry about any of that. But I mean, come on, this is a hand washing station. It doesn't take, you know, a logistics professional to make this happen. It's a portable hand washing station that doesn't, you know, you could do this overnight. They probably did do it overnight without any, you know, with only 2 or 3 supervisors. It doesn't take much. So while it's true that they're just trying to be ready, there was no rush. There's no rush to put that out there. So it kind of makes me think maybe it's something, maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. But like I said, it's kind of smoky. And for what it's worth, you know, the most recent whispers that I've heard is pointing me back in the direction of, I think they're going to open Main Street. And it's funny, I vacillate. I go back and forth on this constantly. There are times when I'm like, how can they not open up Main Street? Come on, we're all sitting here. We're ready to do this. We're ready to have some fun. You know, it's not a big deal. You've already doing it at Buena Vista Street. And then there's times when I'm like, how can they possibly do this? The demand is way too high. You're going to have people lining up all over the place. Look what we saw just on this President's Day weekend at DCA. I mean, they had it figured out in 20 or 30 minutes. So, I mean, it wasn't like a permanent situation, but you get my point. Main Street is far more popular than DCA. The bottom line is that we're going forward. Things are happening, and I don't think we're going to be. There will be no steps backwards from here. I don't think it would take a very bad stretch of luck for things to regress from this. We're only going forward from here. So what are your thoughts, you guys? What are your thoughts about this? Actually, you know what? I don't want to talk to you about, or I don't want your thoughts on DCA. I'm sure everybody wants everything to be open. That's a no-brainer. I don't think there's anybody out there that's like, no, I want less of DCA to be open. That's what I want. I do want to ask you this. What are you looking to pay for this event? Are you looking to pay Knott's fees, $45? I mean, that seems like, I just don't see that's a possibility. Disneyland's going to charge more. That's just the way it is. So, I mean, what's too much? Is it $50 or $60? I don't know. What if they charged you $45 but gave you only 4 taste options instead of 5? That's what Knott's Berry Farm is doing right now. What if they did that? Let us know, you guys. I want to know what your price point is for something like this. I don't want to know what your maximum number, but I mean, I don't know. I guess there isn't a minimum number either. But I feel like 60 is a good number. I feel like 60 is probably pretty good. It could be more. What if, man? You know, that's almost, if you start getting any more than 60, now you're looking at the cost of admission. They better give us some food. All right, I guess that's it. That's the update. That's catching you guys up. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, be safe out there, everybody. Don't be in a hurry. Drive safe. Be kind to one another. Be kind to a stranger today. And know that we love you. And we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked.